Okay, so for today's warm up, open your Otis assessments and complete your new double entry journal for Monday, August 21st and Wednesday, August 23rd. Remember, you have a new double entry journal for part one. That's for pages 22 to 94. Don't press submit until we're all the way done with part one. That's all the way until we're done with page 94 in Tangerine. Remember to use your legal first and last name, be on mute, and have your video turned on. This is for attendance and engagement purposes. There's nothing you need to write in chat today or to share with the class. Just go ahead and complete that on your own, Monday, August 21st, and Wednesday, August 23rd. And if you've already done that, you can just review what you wrote and make sure you're ready to move on. Okay. Today's daily agenda is our attendance and warm-up that we already did. We're going to review Springboard page 168, and we're going to focus a little bit more on characterization. Our objective is to understand and identify characterization in Pixar shorts and apply this knowledge to Tangerine. And the materials needed are none today. You don't even need your Springboard book. So I wanted to go over your Springboard page 168. Think about what you listed or wrote. And then we talked a little bit about yesterday, how does that apply to the mood or the tone of the novel, right? We have Paul's house in that new neighborhood, Lake Windsor Downs. We know that there are muck fires smoldering nearby. We know that there's a lake with koi fish. We know some of his neighbors that he now has. We now also know about his school, Lake Windsor Middle School. And we know that there's a lot of expensive things with some interesting weather that's happening, right? And we also know that Paul and his mom didn't have the greatest time at Lake Windsor Middle School, meeting Mrs. Gates, playing with the soccer team that didn't really seem very skillful. And there's not really like a positive and happy tone right now. We can tell there's some family discord. And all of that, the setting and what we'll talk about, the characterization, is kind of contributing to an ominous mood. And you really described it well yesterday. But I want you to start thinking about what's going to happen now that we're learning all of these items in the basic situation or exposition. So, just to remind you, characters are part of that basic situation or exposition, along with the setting and the conflict. Characterization can also contribute to the mood or the tone of the story. And the definition of characterization is the way the author shows or tells the reader what the character is like. And we're going to pay attention to this as we read Tangerine, but I also want to practice it first. So when we took notes on direct characterization, we learned that it's a statement in which the author tells you what the character is like. So the author says things like, that student is extremely nervous, and they might give you exact character trait words for the student. This is not often, however. Most times, the author wants you to use indirect characterization to make inferences and judgments about character traits. Indirect characterization is the author showing the reader what the character is like. This is through their words and sometimes pictures, and they allow the reader to make their own decisions about the character. Character traits are qualities in a person that cannot be seen. Words like you see in the heart, resilient, compassionate, dedicated, caring, inspiring. They could also be negative traits. We all have them. And so, what I want you to do is, as you read, make inferences. Use the author's indirect characterization to make judgments about a character's traits. You do this in real life too. You take a look at a character's or person's actions, speech, appearance, maybe some of the thoughts and feelings that were shared, and how other people react to them to make a judgment about whether you want to be friends with that person, whether you trust that person, whether you like that person. We do this in real life and in narratives. So today we're going to take a look at a Pixar short called Doug's Special Mission. And we're going to note any direct characterization. Does the author specifically tell you what the character is like? Probably not in a Pixar short, but maybe. And we're really going to focus on indirect characterization or how the author shows Doug's character, especially that action, appearance, speech, any thoughts and feelings that he might have, or we're going to guess that he has, and others' reactions. And then we're going to complete a characterization chart and answer any questions on our document. And then you'll complete one on your own. So let's go ahead and watch the Pixar short, paying attention especially to indirect characterization, and I'll complete this characterization chart with you. All right, so if I'm going to go over to our characterization chart, which looks like this, we have a space for the character name. We have spaces to put down the character's actions, appearance, speech, thoughts and feelings, and others' reactions. And then we are going to put in a character trait. So if I'm looking at the example that we just saw, Doug's Special Mission, I'm going to only pick one character, and that's the main character. So I'm going to type Doug. And then I'm going to think about, okay, what actions does Doug take? What does the character do? And I'll just type in here, I see Doug smells flowers. He moves slowly. He watches the rock. He slides in the hole. He jumps on the rock. He goes to the humans. These are some of his actions. Now, you might be able to think of more. You might not like some of the ones I put down. That's okay. This up here. Now, for the appearance, when I think about Doug, Doug to me looks like a golden retriever. You'll just note that these are notes. He has a brown collar. He's pretty fluffy. He has his tongue out. And that's what I think his appearance looks like. And again, you might think of other things about what Doug looks like or what he's wearing, but this is what I have. And I think it's fine for now because it tells enough information that you can really get a good visual in your mind. For his speech, what does the character say out loud? He actually speaks a lot. Sometimes you don't always have a character speaking, but he can speak using his collar. We also know that he says things like, my name is Doug. Today is my birthday. And I actually think these are exact quotes. If they weren't, I wouldn't put them in quotation marks. And then I think he said something about his birthday is the happiest day of his life. And later on, he says, it's a sad day. And then his thoughts and feelings, even though at the end of the story it does become happy, but his thoughts and feelings, which kind of overlap there, he shares with us a lot of his thoughts actually. He shares that he wants to help catch the bird. He tells us his thoughts about what's happening. You know, the part where he says, it's dark in the hole. I'm going down the hole. And he shares a lot about his thoughts and feelings. He tells us that he's sad when the alpha dog says that he's messed up the mission. But then he's also happy when he finds his new master, when he gets his wish and resolves that conflict. Other people's reactions to him. So how do other characters respond with either their words or actions to the character? The alpha dog seems really annoyed by him. seems to think he's dumb when he gives him these small tasks instead of really helping to catch the bird. And you can tell he wants Doug to go away. And then the alpha and the master call him a bad dog. But then the human, and especially the boy, seem to like him at the end. So when I look at all of these things, when I look at Doug's actions, his appearance, his speech, his thoughts and feelings, and other people's reactions, I really get a good sense of who Doug is. And this is just a Pixar short. Imagine what you could do with a longer story like a novel, right? When we start doing this with Paul or any of the other characters in Tangerine. So when I think about, okay, so, and don't forget this part, how would I describe Doug in one word if I were to give him a character trait? And people can have more than one character trait, but you just have to write down one here. You don't have to write down a ton. So if I'm trying to think, how would I describe Doug? I would describe Doug as wanting to help, right? That's something that I could describe Doug as. And I would have to think, how can I put that in one word? Because if I put helpful, he's not actually helpful. He causes a lot of problems for the other dogs and they never end up getting the bird. And I could say that he's nice, but he does cause a lot of issues again for the dogs. And I could say that he's not the brightest, but apparently it helped him get what he wanted. So, one of the things I was thinking about saying about him is he seems to always be willing to help. Even though he's not incredibly smart, he still kind of gets the new master like he wanted. And he just seems really positive. Let's see. And so I'm going to write that down. He's positive. He has a very positive attitude. And so that's what you're going to do today watching a Pixar short. You're going to fill out the character name, actions, appearance, speech, thoughts and feelings, and others' reactions to help you make an inference about the character trait. And you can see there's many different options I could put down. You just need to put down one. If you really want to put down more than one, that's fine too. And today you're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the Pixar short called Jack, Jack, Attack. So go ahead and open your Otis assessment and click on Characterization, Jack, Jack, Attack. Click the link and watch the video short. Focus on how the author shows Jack's character, especially his actions, appearance, speech, thoughts and feelings, and others' reactions, and answer the questions on your Google Doc and complete that characterization chart. This is due today. If you don't finish this during class, finish it during your independent work time from 1:53 to 3:14, but you should be pressing submit at some point today. And that's it. So you can go ahead and leave our Zoom class, work on your independent practice by yourself, Jack, Jack, Attack characterization, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.